Welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your quiz master, Sean, and I've got questions for you. 100 of them to test general knowledge. So let's see what we know. Let's have a little bit of fun and keep those brains working, shall we? And let's start with question number 1. Which rare animal is the only living member of the family Myrmecophagidae? The aardvark, the anteater, or the pangolin? Easy for me to say, eh? That would be the giant anteater. Which rare species of bat, native to Madagascar, has suction cups on its limbs, allowing it to cling to smooth surfaces? The flying fox, the sucker-footed bat, or the vampire bat? And that would be the sucker-footed bat. Which 19th century Russian author wrote War and Peace? Fyodor Dostoevsky, Ivan Turgenev, or Leo Tolstoy? Who wrote War and Peace? That would be Leo Tolstoy. True or false? The vampire finch, found in the Galapagos Islands, is famous for its ability to drink blood from other birds. Ooh, is that true? Or is that just too silly to be true? That's true. Eee. Which Italian physicist is known for his pioneering work on nuclear reactions? Enrico Fermi, Niels Bohr, or Werner Heisenberg? And that Italian physicist is Enrico Fermi. Which rare species of amphibian is able to regenerate its limbs and remains in its larval stage throughout its life? The newt, the axolotl, or the salamander? And that would be the axolotl. Which Scottish economist is known for his influential book, The Wealth of Nations? Is that David Ricardo? Is it Thomas Malthus? Or Adam Smith? The Wealth of Nations, of course, was written by Adam Smith. Which philosopher is often considered the father of Western philosophy? Plato, Aristotle, or Socrates? The father of Western philosophy is Socrates. Which is the smallest living rhinoceros species? The Indian rhino, the Sumatran rhino, or the Javan rhino? The smallest living rhino species. That would be the Sumatran rhino. Which American artist is famous for his large-scale drip paintings? What is a drip painting? And that American artist is Jackson Pollock. Name the rare astronomical event that occurs when Jupiter and Saturn appear extremely close together in the night sky. Rare astronomical event, we call that the Great Conjunction. Which ancient Chinese philosopher has had a profound influence on East Asian culture? Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu, or Confucius? A profound influence. And that would be Confucius. Which author wrote The Grapes of Wrath, a novel about the hardships of the Great Depression? Was Grapes of Wrath written by William Faulkner, or John Steinbeck, or F. Scott Fitzgerald? The Grapes of Wrath was written by John Steinbeck. Which explorer is known for his 3 voyages to the Pacific? Francis Drake, James Cook, or was it Henry Hudson? 3 voyages to the Pacific. That was James Cook. Which Dutch painter is famous for works like The Anatomy Lesson, Johann Vermeer, Frans Hals, or Rembrandt van Rijn? The Anatomy Lesson, that's a work by Rembrandt van Rijn. Which ancient civilization is famous for creating enormous geoglyphs? Is it the Inca civilization, the Nazca civilization, or the Moche civilization? And that would be the Nazca civilization. Which transcendentalist philosopher wrote the essay Self-Reliance? Was that Ralph Waldo Emerson? Was it written by Henry David Thoreau? Or is that a work by Walt Whitman? And that is a essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Which Mexican artist is known for her bold, colorful self-portraits? Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, or Rufino Tamayo? And that Mexican artist is Frida Kahlo. What rare marine reptile, thought to have gone extinct 150 million years ago, is now known to have existed during the late Cretaceous period? And that marine reptile is the Plesiosaurus. What is the name of the Japanese art of growing miniature trees? Do they call it ikebana, bonsai, or origami? The Japanese art of growing miniature trees. That is the art of bonsai. Which Greek island is known as the birthplace of the goddess Aphrodite? Was she born in Crete, Rhodes, or is she native to Cyprus? The goddess Aphrodite was born on Cyprus. Which famous Renaissance artist was known for his notebooks filled with sketches, scientific diagrams, and anatomical studies? And that Renaissance artist was Leonardo da Vinci. Which subatomic particle is associated with a strong nuclear force and helps bind the nucleus of an atom together? Is that an electron, a proton, or a neutron? That would be a neutron. Who wrote the epic poem, The Iliad, recounting the events of the Trojan War? Was it Homer, Sophocles, or was it written by Virgil? That was written by Homer. Homer's The Iliad. In 1492, Christopher Columbus first landed on which island in the Caribbean? Hispaniola, Cuba, or San Salvador? Which one did Columbus land on first? He landed on San Salvador. Which Asian country is known for its floating markets? Thailand is known for its floating markets. In the novel Moby Dick, what is the name of the ship Captain Ahab commands? What is the name of the ship Captain Ahab commands? The Pequod, the Nautilus, or the Beagle? He commands the Pequod. Pequod. What is the term for a group of owls? Do owls form a murder, a flock, or a parliament? What's the term for a group of owls? Owls get together and form a parliament. Which river runs through the Grand Canyon in the United States? Is that the Colorado River? Is it the Mississippi River? Or is the Rio Grande River? Running through the Grand Canyon in the United States, that would be the Colorado River. What is a primary component of natural gas? Primary component. And that would be methane. In which ocean is the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, located? The Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, or the Pacific Ocean? The Mariana Trench is located in the Pacific Ocean. Which Chinese philosopher is considered the father of Taoism? Is that Confucius, Zhuangzi, or Lao Tzu? The father of Taoism. That would be Lao Tzu. Who was condemned to push a boulder up a hill for eternity? Was that Sisyphus? Was it Prometheus? Or was it Tantalus? Condemned for eternity of pushing the boulder up the hill, Sisyphus. What is the capital of Chile? Is the capital of Chile Buenos Aires? Is it Santiago? Or is it Lima? Capital of Chile. Chile, Santiago. Which mathematical conjecture was famously proven by Andrew Wiles in 1994? Goldbach's conjecture, Fermat's last theorem, or Riemann hypothesis? That would be Fermat's last theorem. What is the name of the unique natural phenomenon in which the shadow of a mountain is projected onto the clouds? Parhelion, Aurora Borealis, or the Brocken specter? And that would be a Brocken specter. Which alchemist and physician is often credited with founding modern toxicology? Avicenna, Paracelsus, or Hippocrates? Modern toxology. That would be Paracelsus. Which 19th century European composer created the Tristan chord? Was that Richard Wagner, Johannes Brahms, or Gustav Mahler? That was created by Richard Wagner. Which 18th century German philosopher wrote Critique of Pure Reason? Immanuel Kant, Friedrich Nietzsche, or Georg Hegel? The Critique of Pure Reason. That was written by Immanuel Kant. What rare genetic disorder causes individuals to age rapidly? Is it Huntington's disease, progeria, or Tay-Sachs disease? That genetic disorder is progeria. In which African country can you find the Danakil Depression? Will you find that in Sudan, Kenya, or Ethiopia? The Danakil Depression is in Ethiopia. Who is credited with creating the first accurate drawings of the human body, revolutionizing the field of anatomy? And that would be Andreas Vesalius. Which lesser-known Shakespeare play features the character Pericles, who undergoes a series of maritime adventures and trials? Is that Cymbeline? Is it Troilus and Cressida? Or is it Pericles, Prince of Tyre? That would be Pericles, Prince of Tyre. What is the term used to describe a short-lived particle in physics that exists briefly during high-energy particle collisions? A short-lived particle in physics. A virtual particle. Which rare tropical fruit, often described as a tasting like a mix of banana, mango, and citrus, is native to Southeast Asia? Is that the durian, the mangosteen, or the rambutan? And that would be the rambutan. Who is known for his bizarre, imaginative triptychs, such as the Garden of Earthly Delights? And that would be Hieronymus Bosch. Which river, flowing through the Siberian region of Russia, is the longest river in the world to flow into the Arctic Ocean? Is that the Lena River, the Ob River, or the Yenisei River? And that would be the Yenisei River. What is the rarest naturally occurring element on Earth? What is the rarest naturally occurring element on Earth? Radon, francium, or astatine? And that would be francium. Which ancient civilization built the city of Petra and carved its architecture into red sandstone cliffs? The Babylonians, the Nabateans, or the Phoenicians? That would be the Nabateans. In theoretical physics, what is the name of the hypothetical particle that is thought to carry the force of gravity? The hypothetical particle that is thought to carry the force of gravity. That would be the graviton. Which historical ship was famously used by Zheng He for his voyages? The junk, the Zhao, or the treasure ship? That historical ship was the treasure ship. Which neurological phenomenon allows some individuals to associate colors with numbers, letters, or sounds? Aphantasia, synesthesia, or prosopagnosia? That would be synesthesia. What is the deepest underwater cave in the world, discovered in the Czech Republic? The Hranice Abyss, the Krubera Cave, or the Gouffre Berger? And that would be the Hranice Abyss. Which German-born theoretical physicist won the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics for his discovery of the photoelectric effect? And that physicist would be Albert Einstein. What is the name of the hypothetical boundary surrounding a black hole beyond which nothing can escape? The photon sphere, the event horizon, or a singularity? And that would be the event horizon. In Greek mythology, who was a titan condemned to hold up the sky for eternity? Was it Atlas, Cronus, or Prometheus, who was condemned to hold up the sky for all eternity? And that would be Atlas. Which famous problem was posed in 1859 and remains unsolved concerning the distribution of prime numbers? The Riemann hypothesis, the Collatz conjecture, or the twin prime conjecture? That would be the Riemann hypothesis. What is the term used in computer science for a self-replicating program designed to spread across networks and computers? Is that a virus? Is it a worm? Or is it a Trojan horse? It is a worm. What ancient structure aligns with the winter solstice, allowing sunlight to illuminate its inner chamber? Aligns with the winter solstice. That would be the New Grange. Which civilization was known for its complex calendar system? Was that the Olmec civilization, the Aztec civilization, or was it the Maya civilization? And that would be the Mayan civilization. Which rare medical condition is characterized by an uncontrollable urge to speak in rhyme? Malapropism, aphasia, or clang association? An uncontrollable urge to speak in rhyme. The clang association. Which country is home to the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth? Chile, Peru, or Bolivia? Home to the Atacama Desert. That would be Chile. What is the name of the theoretical particle that gives other particles their mass, confirmed experimentally in 2012? The neutrino, the Higgs boson, or the graviton? And that would be the Higgs boson. Which chemical element, known for its toxicity, was once used in house paint and gasoline, but is now heavily regulated? Would that be mercury, cadmium, or lead? Getting the lead out of the house paint and gasoline. What ancient manuscript, written in an unknown language and script, remains undeciphered despite decades of study by cryptographers? That would be the Voynich manuscript. In Norse mythology, what is the name of the serpent that is said to encircle the world and will fight Thor during Ragnarok? Is that Fenrir? Is that Jormungandr? Or is that Sleipnir? And that would be Jormungandr. Which famous female pharaoh of ancient Egypt ruled over 2 decades and is often depicted wearing a false beard? Nefertiti, Hatshepsut, or Cleopatra? Who was wearing that false beard? That was Hatshepsut. Which African empire was ruled by the famous Mansa Musa in the 14th century? The Ghana Empire, the Songhai Empire, or the Mali Empire? And that would be the Mali Empire. What ancient civilization built the city of Angkor Wat, one of the largest religious monuments in the world? That would be the Khmer Empire. Which theory in biology suggests that mitochondria and chloroplasts in eukaryotic cells originated as separate prokaryotic organisms? Cell theory, germ theory, or endosymbiotic theory? And that would be endosymbiotic theory. Eukaryotic. What is the name of the scale used to measure the hardness of minerals, where talc is the softest and diamond is the hardest? The Richter scale, the Mohs scale, or the Beaufort scale? And that would be the Mohs scale. What mathematical symbol represents the base of the natural logarithm? The mathematical symbol represents the base of the natural logarithm? That would be E. Which European monarch, known for her long reign, was the last of the Tudor dynasty? Mary I, Elizabeth I, or Anne Boleyn? The last of the Tudor dynasty was Elizabeth I. What is the name of the Roman god of doors, gates, and transitions, often depicted with 2 faces? Saturn, Neptune, or Janus, or Janus? That would be Janus. What rare mineral, first discovered in a South African mine, is harder than diamonds, but only forms under extreme pressure? That would be the Wurtzite boron nitride. What is a term for the fear of open or public spaces, often linked with anxiety disorders? Agoraphobia, claustrophobia, or acrophobia? That would be agoraphobia. Which planet in the solar system has the largest volcano, Olympus Mons, which is roughly 3 times the height of Mount Everest? Venus, Mars, or Jupiter? And that would be the planet Mars. What branch of mathematics deals with the properties and relationships of points, lines, surfaces, and solids? The branch of mathematics, that would be geometry. Who was a 19th century German composer known for his operas, including The Ring of the Nibelung? Ludwig van Beethoven, Richard Wagner, or Johann Sebastian Bach? And that would be Richard Wagner. What is a term for a substance that speeds up a chemical reaction without being consumed in the process? Is it a solvent, a reactant, or a catalyst? And that substance is a catalyst. What natural satellite, discovered by astronomer Galileo Galilei in 1610, is the largest moon of Jupiter? Is that Ganymede, Europa, or Io? And that moon is Ganymede. What is a term for the measure of the randomness or disorder of a system in thermodynamics? The measure of randomness or disorder. That would be entropy. What is the term for the lowest temperature theoretically possible, at which no thermal energy remains in a substance? Absolute zero, the Kelvin point, or the cryonic threshold? And that would be absolute zero. Which rare astronomical object emits strong bursts of radio waves and is thought to be the remnants of a supernova explosion? The neutron star, a pulsar, or a quasar? That would be a pulsar. Which rare breed of dog, originally from Tibet, is known for its thick, woolly coat and is often referred to as a temple dog? Is that the Shih Tzu, the Chow Chow, or the Lhasa Apso? That dog is the Lhasa Apso. What is a term for a circular depression formed by the collapse of a volcanic vent or chamber? Circular depression formed by the collapse of a volcanic vent or chamber. That term is the caldera. In mathematics, what is a term for a quantity with both magnitude and direction? Scalar, vector, or tensor? And that would be vector. True or false? A ruby is primarily composed of aluminum oxide. Is that true or is that false? A ruby composed of aluminum oxide. That's false. That would be describing a sapphire. What is a term for the process by which an atom's nucleus splits into smaller parts, releasing a large amount of energy? And that term is fission. What is a term for a type of symbiotic relationship where one organism benefits and the other is neither helped nor harmed? Is it parasitism, mutualism, or commensalism? That would describe commensalism. What is a term for the chemical process by which a solid turns directly into a gas without passing through the liquid state? Is that evaporation, sublimation, or condensation? And that is the process of sublimation. What is the name of the system in the human body responsible for producing hormones? Is that the nervous system, the endocrine system, or the digestive system? And that would be the endocrine system. Who was the ancient Greek god of wine, theater, and ecstasy, often associated with festivals and celebrations? Hermes, Apollo, or Dionysus? That Greek god is Dionysus. Which ancient empire was known for its road network and postal system? Was that the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, or the Achaemenid Empire? And the road network and postal system, that would be the Achaemenid Empire. What is a term for the scientific study of human evolution, focusing on fossil records and biological development? And that area of study is paleoanthropology. Who was a legendary 12th century king of England, known for leading the Third Crusade and being called the Lionheart? Is that Henry V? Is that Richard I? Or is that Edward III? The Lionheart, that's Richard I. What type of radiation was discovered by Wilhelm Röntgen in 1895? X-rays, gamma rays, or ultraviolet radiation? Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays. Which Byzantine emperor is credited with building the Hagia Sophia? Was that Constantine the Great? Was it Justinian I? Or Theodosius II? Hagia Sophia was commissioned by Justinian I. What is a term for a symbiotic relationship in which both species benefit from the interaction? Commensalism, parasitism, or mutualism? And that would be a description of mutualism. And now question 100. Which rare form of crystal structure was named after a Nobel laureate? Rare form of crystal structure. Well, that was named after Schechtmanite. Schechtmanite. Thanks for playing Quiz Time. Drop your score in the comments, please. And don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like, so you don't miss Quiz Time when it comes out. And we produce a lot of these for you. So we'll see you in the next one, and we'll have fun then as well. Bye-bye.